Hello guys, and welcome to Life, Love, and Gardening. What I'm doing right here is I'm just adding some peat moss to this container. I ran out of peat moss and I decided that I'm just gonna go ahead and pot it up. This tote right here, I was just gonna go ahead and add my compost and my manure and in here and just plant. And that is not what you want to do for things that have roots that you want to go deep and grow. For instance, things like tomatoes. So I planted this up, and after watering and everything and letting it sit for a couple of weeks, it just gets way too hard. And so what I'm doing is I'm adding in some more peat moss right here. I've already added in some already, but I'm adding some back in here about half the way through, and I'm just mixing it through. And as you can see, I did have some perlite in here. I ran out of the peat moss, but I had perlite, so I put a little bit of that in there, but it was not enough to add aeration to this soil for plants. And so this already had in some all-purpose fertilizer and some peat moss, and this already had worm castings and all the good stuff in there, but it didn't have something to create airiness to it. Not enough to create airiness to it. And so that's what I'm doing here now. I've added about maybe 3 of these little, I don't know if this maybe is about 1 gallon pot from the Dollar Tree. I added about 3 scoops of this peat moss in here. I'm just kind of mixing it around, and I'm seeing how airy it is. And reason I know that it's not growing properly, I'm going to show you one that is growing properly with the right amount of aeration and soil and amendments in it. Okay, so as you can see, this bed is growing. This container is growing really, really nice. I'm about to start getting some flowers on this. This has enough aeration in it. The roots are able to dig in and get the nutrients, the water that it needs. Another one that shows good aeration is this one right here. So I planted these up the same time that I planted the other container up, but I ran out of peat moss and perlite. And so I just planted. But you see how nice and lush and green these tomatoes are? This chamomile is very nice, right? Okay, so I'm going to take you back over to the other one. I'm going to show you some of those plants from that container. Okay, so let me just break this up and then I'll show you the other one. I'm thinking this may be good. We'll see when I wet it and after it sits for a little while if this is enough. I feel like I want to just add and add and add. Okay, so let me show you. You see this? This is a struggle plant. As you can see down here, you see right here, it started to split and get disease and get pests and all of the things, right? So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to probably come right here and I'm going to plant it all the way to maybe the top, all the way up here. And then if this just wants to die off like it's currently doing, fine. Because up here, hopefully, what I'm hoping is that it will put some roots out up here. Okay, even though it's starting to flower, it's just not doing good. And I just broke this, but that's okay. I'm gonna plant all the way up to there anyhow. So what I'm gonna do is I'm almost gonna make a trench right here. I'm gonna lay it all the way down here. Take this little scraggly piece and I'm just gonna curve it on in. Come you do want to be careful of how you're watering this because it is really low to the soil, and you don't want to create all kind of fungus and disease on your leaves. So you want to make sure you're hand watering this really good, and you're just kind of going out and around it, and just allow those roots to try to form and reach out and grab the water. Okay. So I believe that is and this is the name of that tomato. Rosella, however you want to say it. That's what it is. Rosella. And so I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to try to set this one kind of up. This one, they were all lying over and wonky. And you see how that looks? That's not healthy. That's not healthy at all. Okay. Cover this one all the way around. I'm hoping that we can revive it. And I'm going to keep you updated regardless. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And these are looking kind of ugly right now. Right? Put the tag in so I know what that one is. Alright. And on the other side, I have Goddess of the Moon. And let me show you how hard that dirt was. Look how hard. I mean, it's kind of hard. It's also dry. So, but this one was looking a little bit better. But I think I added this plant in there later than I did the other two. Like maybe 2 or 3 days later. Maybe even a week later. Can't remember. But that's why I'm vlogging this. That's why I'm vlogging this, so I can remember. So we don't make these same mistakes over and over again. Right, and I plant that one in there deep as well. And I'm really, really hoping that these can bounce back. I believe this is a yarrow. I believe this is a yarrow right here. This is one of my plants that I planted up, and we had a terrible windstorm and it knocked everything over, killed a lot of my plants because these were all in greenhouses, like in the greenhouse. And so this looks like my other yarrow that's actually still labeled yarrow. So that's what I'm thinking that is. Look at this poor little baby. It's just in here suffering. I believe this is a petunia, if I'm not mistaken. My little mullein, it just stopped growing. It said, no ma'am, we're not doing this. I'll put it right here. And then I have, this is a Shasta daisy. I grew this from seed as well, and it's not looking good. And my poor Tabasco pepper. It just looks hard and dry. And I water these containers every day, about 2 times a day. And as a matter of fact, it just rained. It just rained less than an hour ago. Not rain, but storm. Less than an hour ago, and this is just as dry as the days are long. And I'm going to put this about right here. I feel like I want to break it up a little bit. And then, so if this is still not really fluffy enough, after a while, I'll pot them again, I'll uproot them again, and I will do it until we get it right. That was my little Tabasco. Make sure I put my mullein tag right here, and this was the Goddess of the Moon. All right, and this bed already looks better. And there are a couple more beds that I want to kind of redo to get it right. But here you go, guys. I'm going to water this in, so just hang tight. Okay. And then what I'll do is maybe in about 3 to 4 days, I'll come back out here and I'll get some fish fertilizer and I will fertilize this bed. Probably in about 2 days, I'll come out here and fertilize it. And you may think I'm watering this too much, but that peat moss was dry. The soil was really dry. And so it would just soak straight through. It would just go straight through and straight down out of the drainage holes. So I'm gonna really soak this in good. Because I just kind of traumatized these plants. I just uprooted them, you know? They were already struggling. And let's see something. Okay. So you see how I just watered that? And you see how it's not really going through? It's still really dry down there. Did you see how much I was watering that? This is what I mean. It's kind of repelling the water a little bit. So you really need to soak it in really, really good, because this is still very much dry. So what I'll do is I'll water this, and then about half an hour from now, I'll come back out and I'll water it again and give that peat moss and that soil a chance to kind of suck all of that moisture in. And so it's best to really moisten your soil and moisten your peat moss and your growing medium before you put your plants and things in there. It's very good to go ahead and just get it pre-moistened. It will make this go a lot faster, and you might not have to double back 2 or 3 times to make sure that it's getting watered properly. But anyhow, I just wanted to stop in, show you guys what I was out here doing. I wasn't going to record, and then I said, you know what? Someone needs to see this. Someone needs to know. You know, there are a lot of beginner gardeners out here that just, you don't know. You don't know what you don't know until someone shows you. So, thank you guys for joining, and I'll see you guys on the next video.